Welcome to our first televised episode. Well, it's video at least. Episode of the Geo Show. Taryn, say what's up.
What's going on?
Brandon, say what's up.
What's up?
You guys excited to be on video? I guess we're making the transition.
This is the work's a little bit harder. We can't be in our pajamas anymore.
I know.
Like we used to be.
I'm still rocking the Poets game day though, and I wanted to support our buddies over at B103.
Hey, there you go.
You got the nice suit.
Yeah.
You're rocking the.
Got the tan.
Yeah.
Got that tan dress shirt going. So, I like to think I look decent.
It's all good. So we haven't done trivia in a couple weeks, so that's where we're going to start off. For those of you watching the Geo Show, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's do Twitter handles quick. I'll put it on the screen as well, Taryn.
At dim_Canes.
Columbus City News.
And at CNT Granite, make sure to follow us for all the good stuff. Columbus City News, everything sports related. Follow Taryn if for some reason you like Dem Canes. All right, so who's our last trivia winner?
It's a good question.
We've kind of been.
I think I won it the first time, and then I think Taryn slowly rose.
Taryn won one. I won the one about Columbus.
You won the first one, and I took the trophy.
You stole it from
I
me.
stole it. So
I think we're all tied.
So we'll say we're all tied. Okay. So this is continuing last trivia, so it's pretty old stuff. So you may or may not get it. The first two are not multiple choice. The last one is. So it's going to be potentially. I think you guys will be able to get these two. They're not too hard, and I think the last one might be a tiebreaker. Taryn might be out of luck. You've been here a little longer, so you might be all right.
I'll take any advantage I can get.
We'll start with Taryn first. So we're gonna do a question for Taryn, and we're gonna do a question for Brandon. Then we're gonna try and break it with the last question. So Taryn, what was first bottled in Columbus in 1963? You may or may not know this. This is a salad dressing.
Salad dressing. Is it multiple choice or
No?
Nope. I just gotta throw something out there.
Should I give him? I could give him options. Taryn might not know.
Give him options.
People watching from the area will probably know. You may not know. All right, you got ranch, Dorothy Lynch, Caesar salad dressing, and that's the three you get.
I'll go with Dorothy Lynch.
Dorothy Lynch is correct.
No.
I was afraid to give him options because I knew you would. Ranch and Caesar, I don't know, Caesar salad, is that like a
I would have
thing?
guessed Caesar was like from
Italy or something?
Yeah, like Greece or whatever.
Mexico?
I was gonna be like Hidden Valley Ranch was gonna be my wild guess.
Well, okay, so you're not completely out of luck though.
Okay,
You
all right,
have
good.
not decently tough one either. I think you can get this. Columbus, and I hope you can get this. I know it's in the back of your mind. Columbus is the birthplace of what industry?
Like one of the industry, like
It's
one
an
of the companies.
It's no, so it's not a company.
Okay.
It's in
A type
it's
of
essentially
industry.
turned into like a kind of questionnaire game. 21 questions. It's not an industry, or it's an industry, but it's not like a specific company. There is a company that deals with this industry that's very large within the.
Like
There's-
manufacturing. Is that?
No.
Or
Well,
you mean,
I
like,
mean,
are
there
we
is
talking
a
like there's a welding and there's a like that. I'm
there
confused.
there's a manufacturing section. I suppose as part of this industry.
Assuming this refers to Balin.
This it does not.
Well, then I am just an idiot.
That's all right. You
I
can
don't
keep
know.
going. It's an industry. We did some pretty heavy coverage on it.
Hurdles,
You
blazer,
say hurdle? No,
track equipment. Oh.
no. It's public power.
Oh, dang.
NPPD was the
Ooh.
big industry. Public power was born. Technically, I think it might have actually started in Grand Island or somewhere down by Lincoln. But technically, Columbus is the birthplace of public power. They say, well, you can redeem yourself
Oh man.
because Taryn could get this wrong. We might have to go into extra questions.
We'll see.
Or we'll go. If we get this wrong, we'll go into a tie and we'll carry it over to next week.
That's
Because I don't
fair.
want to ruin all of our questions for 1 week. All right. Okay, so the only day we have that's the wrong part. All right. So who created the slogan, the city of power and progress for Columbus, which, Taryn, you've only been here a couple months or a month, but that's the town slogan. Is it A, Julian Meyer, B, James Meyer, C, Julian Richard, or D, Richard Meyer? Now I'll make Taryn guess first because he's got one right, and you haven't gotten yet. So Taryn, you're gonna go first. Is it A, Julian Meyer, B, James Meyer, C, Julian Richard, or D, Richard Meyer?
I'm not going to say Columbus would follow anybody named Julian, so I'll go with Richard Meyer.
Richard Meyer, D. Okay, that's Taryn's choice.
I honestly have no idea. I see what you did with the little name flip-flops and first and last and whatnot. I'm going to my default when I don't know in multiple choice, and that's B for Brandon, so whatever that one is.
So James Meyer.
Going
is
with
your
James
guess.
Meyer.
It's unfortunate, guys. Neither of you are right, and Taryn reigns victorious.
Oh, God, feels good.
But it was Julian Meyer.
Oh.
Her family, his family is going to be, whoever it is. I don't know Julian.
Who is Julian? We do not know.
He was the
about
creator
her.
of the slogan, "The City of Power and Progress."
Was he a business
So,
leader? Was he a,
We don't. I don't know.
just some guy?
I
That was his only
I got
contribution.
These from, I gotta. Well,
of
I'm sure he contributed some other things too. We got these from Cassie and Casey Bayless down at the chamber. So
They
I
know
think
their
this one I think was from the Hall of Fame trivia questions, which just happened on December 1st. So somewhat suiting. All right. Well, we got a lot of sports we got going on today. We're going to talk a little bit about basketball, but we're going to do that here in the next segment. Are you guys excited to talk a little?
I'm
we
up for
got
it.
some basketball
Absolutely.
tonight as well. So we'll be right back with this and some basketball, and then we got another top 3 section, which should be fun as well. So we'll be right back after this here on the Geo Show. All right. Welcome back to the Geo Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. I want to talk a little bit of basketball, which we said before the break, and then coming up, we're going to do a little thing talking about the different, sports in all 3 high schools, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later. But I want to kind of get your initial thoughts. So we covered Columbus High versus Beatrice, and of course Nebraska City and Beatrice as well. What are your initial thoughts on Columbus High basketball as far as boys in the Jimmy Motes era?
Well, it's no secret everyone's obviously very excited about Coach Motes, as they should be. And they had no easy task. I talked to him prior to that game against Beatrice, which is a top 3 team, number 2 in Class B. Said, we have the gauntlet right away, so it's not like this is daisies and wildflowers to start things off. But I thought they played very well against that Beatrice team that is very good and always a state championship caliber team. As we covered the game, they came out and got to a very big start, but Columbus sort of weathered the storm and made it a close game at halftime. It was only 6 points, and then obviously they were unable to bring it back in the second half. But, it was a strong performance. It was away from home, and then they went back on Saturday and got a win against Elkhorn. So they're 1-1, and that's all you could ask for Coach Motes. And the kids seem to be buying into what he's trying to instill, which is obviously tough defense, running all over the floor, and playing high energy. There was times in that Beatrice game where players were diving on the floor, going for jump balls, and Coach Motes was just going crazy and really happy about it. So it's exciting to see. Yeah,
and I think a big thing for me when we were watching from last year to this year, now they ended up losing in double digits in that Beatrice game. Something seemed different about the way they were playing, and obviously there was a big change in players. You had Michael Cook, who got some time last year, and you had Dallas Oberg, who played quite a bit last year. We saw him score quite a bit last season when we covered their games. But I was really impressed with Michael Cook's ability to kind of span across the floor and not only be a contributor offensively but defensively when they had him at the top of the key in that 1-3-1 / kind of 2-3 that they were running around the perimeter. So I was very impressed by that. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how they go throughout the rest of the year here as they move forward. The girls, on the other hand, that was a very exciting game. Then they ended up falling to Elkhorn later on, or in the same day that Columbus High was victorious, so they kind of traded off wins there. How about Ellie McMeekin, though? That girl had a very impressive game. She, I think, is going to be pretty key to them winning, especially when they have a night like that. They really weren't spot-up shooting as well as maybe you think they would. What was kind of your takeaways from watching them play?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Ellie McMeekin, she was our Columbus Community Hospital player of the game, had 25 points, and I couldn't get over it. We got accused of being Columbus homers by Beatrice fans, but Ellie McMeekin, literally, she had I want to say 5 different times where she had an and one, was fouled and went to the line. She made probably 4 of them, and one of which won her team the game. So, I mean, that's what you'd expect from a senior leader, and I think she scored double digits. She had a double-double in the loss. Actually, both their games were 55-52 on the weekend. One was a win against Beatrice, the other a loss in triple overtime. But, they look really good. They're a preseason top 10 team coming in, and I think under Coach Licari, they definitely have potential to make a push for the state title, or not state title necessarily, state tournament at least we'll start off with. And not to say Coach Motes doesn't, but they looked very well for starting off against a tough opponent as well.
Elkhorn girls not a joke either. They did a nice job. Taryn, you wrote up the article at least on that, but I think they're going to have a good season moving forward. So I'm excited to watch them play and cover some more of their games. You got to at least go out and check out some Lakeview basketball. So I'm curious. Lakeview last year had a tough year. This is another thing, like the switching coaches. Everybody's switching coaches right now, so it's going to be an interesting year basketball-wise, Lakeview girls, boys, and Columbus High School. What were some of your takeaways from watching Lakeview play the other day?
Well, I want to start off by apologizing to Coach Softly for spelling this name wrong, but I'm not going to take the heat on that because it was spelled wrong in the program.
So you got to make that correction. That's
throwing the secretary under the bus.
Yeah.
But what I took away from Lakeview, especially watching their girls, is just the tremendous effort that they play with. I can't count how many times that they had girls on the floor fighting for every 50-50 ball, going for jump balls, creating turnovers. I mean, Softly has them buying whatever he's selling. I mean, they were really getting after it. And for the boys, they played hard as well. They were up in that Boone Central game to start with after the first quarter, but I think the size, they're small, especially compared to Boone Central. Boone Central they had at least 4 kids that were over 6'3", a couple 6'5" kids, and I think that's what hurt them initially. But if Lakeview can kind of get their kids to hit some shots, they're going to have to be a jump shooting team, but look at Golden State. I mean, it can work.
Yeah, no, it definitely
Steph
can.
Curry.
I like it. And talking about, I'm excited to see Kayla Shrunk. I think she did a great job last year. And again, we only got to see highlights because we were busy out as well on the weekend doing some other things as far as coverage. But did she do a pretty good job underneath the basket? Because that was a big strength for their team last year.
I'll say, yeah, that's when they took the game over. Is they were feeding her down below in the paint there, and she was banging around, and she was getting those tough buckets.
That seems to be a pretty common thing, and yeah, I know. And that was the other thing with Ellie McMeekin for CHS when they're working into her. Obviously, when she's scoring 25 points, that's a huge impact on the team. That's the impact for any team. But that opened up those shooters, and then when Michael Cook, when he attacked the basket, I thought that opened up those shooters for CHS as well. SCOTUS, we're covering them tonight, so we have the knowledge from last year, and really, if you don't talk about Grant Lom being a big loss, that's really the staple of what this SCOTUS team, this boys team's going to have to overcome. They beat Hastings St. Cecilia right off the bat, which is a huge win to take a team like that off right away, especially for a lot of guys that were playing football up until the end, and then they got to come in late, pretty quick turnaround, and go against Hastings St. Cecilia team. They're playing GACC tonight, so Guardian Angels Central Catholic. We're going to check that game out. We'll touch briefly on that game when we get back. We got to take another break real quick. Brandon's got the game notes, so we're going to touch briefly on that, but then we're going to do a little top 3 action, so I'm excited for that. That should be fun. We'll be right back after this on the Geo Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News TV. All right, welcome back to the Geo Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. For those of you listening on the podcast, I'm sure this is extremely confusing because you guys are getting like the 3-second breaks and then I'm talking and coming back in. For TV, we're doing a couple 3 segments. We're in our last segment right now, just for the little half-hour version. For those of you listening to the podcast, or if you want to listen to the podcast, be sure to go to our website, Columbus News Team, or SoundCloud. We'll put it up on YouTube to see this episode. But if you want to listen to the full thing and get our thoughts on some extra stuff, we're going to be talking about some more things afterwards. But to get the complete version, you got to go check out the website. So also check us out on Twitter. Briefly, just so we don't outdate ourselves too much, let's touch shortly on the matchup tonight. What are you kind of looking at?
Well, for the girls' end, the SCOTUS girls, they suffered their first loss against Hastings St. Cecilia, the number 2 team in the state. Then they turn around, they have the number 3 team in the state in GACC. So that's another tall order for Coach Ritter, and you don't know what could ever happen. The girls are looking for that first win, and it's going to be a tough test. As for the boys, they avenged last year's loss in the season opener when they had Grant Lom against Hastings St. Cecilia, the team that went on to win C2. So they're riding high, and like you said, they didn't have a lot of time to prep because of football, and the GACC team is not as strong on the boys end as the girls. They went 11-13 last year, so coming off a big win, SCOTUS being number 2, they're looking to carry that momentum to go to 2-0, and it's going to be exciting to see. Coach Nuka was very excited about the way his team played defense in that opening match, and besides just losing Lom and Shanley, they bring back pretty much everybody, so they have the potential to make a push, and we're excited to be covering them today and see what they have on the floor.
Yeah, I'm excited to go out there. Taryn as well is going to be going out to check out some wrestling and some basketball tonight as well. So make sure you go to our website or tune in to News Channel Nebraska for the sportscast. Do you know what time that plays? At like top of the hour or right before the top of the hour?
I believe it's the 30.
Okay.
I should know better, but the people at Norfolk are the ones who plug
and
it
we're
in.
very busy
Yes,
day to
and we're
day. So
entirely busy, but if you're on Channel 48, if you watch the TV for an hour's time, you'll see it at least once or twice, and we'll have all the highlights and recaps on that.
So if you're hanging out at the local bar, hopefully they can pop that bad boy up for you. All right, so we're going to do a little game. I want to do a little game called Top 3. It's not really a game, but essentially, and I kind of explained this to Taryn because I wanted to give him a little more of a heads up because he didn't get the luxury of watching or following winter sports last year for Columbus, just so he could somewhat get a little basis. So the game of top 3, I'm gonna play a little ringer quick, so that'll play right now.
It's time for the top 3.
All right, great. So essentially we're gonna go through the 3 schools, Lakeview, CHS, and SCOTUS. That's our top 3. Now you need to for each school, we're going to each list what we think is going to be the top finishing sport for that school for the winter, and why you didn't choose another one. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, I'll say for Lakeview, I think girls basketball. I think girls basketball is probably going to finish highest out of the. So you're really looking at girls, boys, and wrestling for Lakeview. I think girls basketball is probably going to finish highest for me. Just like watching like little clips and stuff, and kind of just reading the review for them, I thought they seemed to transition the best out of the 3, or out of that and men's basketball. Men's basketball has some good talent, but I think women's basketball has a few more of the pieces together. So for Lakeview, for me, is women's basketball. Brandon, you ready? Could you give me a Lakeview?
I am, and I can't disagree with you. I have to go with the girls' basketball as well. They're bringing back a lot of players in Shrunk, like you said, who's kind of the cornerstone of that team. They started out well to start this season, and I think that they're the team that's going to finish the best. They have a chance potentially to win conference and, get into the state finals. And I kind of sound like I'm repeating myself as to what you said, but, I think you made a good spot-on choice, so we're going with that as well.
Well, I won't go first next time, so we don't all, in case we all have the same one. Taryn, Lakeview, you got at least a first-hand glimpse at girls and boys basketball. You'll check out some wrestling later this week or something like that, but what's your initial thought?
Well, I'm going to say you can take the brooms out because Lakeview girls are going to sweep this.
I love it. The confidence is big.
They're just – the effort is the biggest thing. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a program just really go to the mat like that. I mean, just lay it all out on the line, and it's the second game of the season. So
Mm-hmm. I should have led with Taryn on this one because he's got like the most Lakeview. Excuse me, the burps, man. I tell you what, they're getting to me. Every time we do the podcast, I get burps. Now we're gonna go to SCOTUS. Taryn, do you think you can do SCOTUS?
yeah, I was gonna say SCOTUS men's basketball just because I think I saw their athletes all throughout football season, and I think that's gonna usually the athleticism, if you're a good athlete, translates from one sport to another. So I think SCOTUS has the best athletes in this area, and I think they're gonna do some damage.
I'm sure we'll all agree on this one as well. But Brandon, go ahead.
That's sound knowledge. I'll make a case. I'll give the wrestlers some love. I'm not necessarily saying they'll finish better than the boys basketball. I mean, depending if you do team or individual. But, you have Fultz, who won the state championship last year individually, and you're bringing back Dodson, who's a great wrestler. They had some other guys who didn't play football, and Jake Boss. He's actually going out for wrestling, Coach Linder told me. So they're going to have a lot of guys in state, and they have the potential at least 2 or 3 of those guys to win some individual state titles. So not saying they'll be necessarily better than the boys, but they're going to get some recognition as well because they have the talent on the wrestling mat.
I tell you, and I was pretty torn between this one as well. I thought men's basketball, obviously very good, has a great track record from last year. So does wrestling. So I'm going to go, just for the sake of going out of line, I'm going to say girls basketball.
There we go. I like it.
Is doing it. My case for girls basketball, they do have quite a few returners. They got some experience coming back. It's tough. You lose an opening round to St. Cecilia, opening game of the season. But I think they got time to turn it around. They can work that jump shot a little bit. They got some people that can get in, penetrate a little bit in the post, get a little scrappy. So I'm going to say SCOTUS girls basketball just to not be the flavor of the week. So, all right. Brandon, we'll start with you on this one. CHS, who do you got?
Oh, well, Columbus girls is currently obviously a top 10 team, and they have a lot of players coming back. I'm very excited, like everybody else, to watch Coach Schmotes and the boys. And you just never know. It's hard to say with a first-year head coach and what he can do with his players, but the girls have that foundation. They have Coach Licari and his 30-plus years of coaching, and they have players like Ed Zerds, McMeekin, like we saw, Curry, all returning players. I think they have a chance to make a push for the state tournament, and I'm going to go with them. Give the girls some love on this one.
Hey, I like it. Taryn, where are you at?
I am. As you guys know, I was at the Colfax County Board meeting this morning, so I'm going to go take a page out of their book, and I'm going to abstain until I see this wrestling match tonight. So
hey, that's all right.
So I'm gonna save my judgment for another
day. Good journalism.
Yeah, that's a good move. And I got to go with wrestling too. I'm excited to see how they turn out tonight. Just to go back and see what the finished result is. Hopefully, you get enough highlights to where I can absorb a little bit of information from what happened. And I think it all starts. You got Wolf. You got Cyrus Marshall. You got a lot of guys coming in that were very good at football, and a lot of those football talents are pretty good wrestlers as well. Dallas Oberg, I think, is like out of their top, I don't know, out of the big football players, Dallas Oberg's the only one playing basketball, and the rest of them are wrestling. So the wrestling, I think, is going to be very good. I'm excited to see how they do tonight, and then they're also competing this weekend up at CCC. So best of luck to them tonight, and moving on there. Today is Tuesday afternoon, so for those of you who are watching this later, you get a little sense of what's going on. Okay, so that is it for the video version of the podcast. We're going to tune out here video-wise, but we're going to keep going audio-wise. So if you want and can't get enough of the Geo Show, just make sure you tune in to the podcast, get some more. Taryn, hit him again with the Twitter.
At @dim_Canes.
Why do they join? Why do they follow you?
Because I'm me.
Because you me. Brandon, what you got?
Columbus NE News, and you follow me because I'm the official Columbus account. So we tweet out our news, we tweet out our sports, and I try to do updates for Neb Preps when we're doing our live broadcast. So you'll get all the sports you need about Columbus on Columbus NE News.
Absolutely. And I'm CNT Grand On. We'll put them on the bottom of the screen. If you go to our Facebook page, go to the Facebook page, Columbus News Team, find the story. On the story, I linked you guys in there, so make it easy to get mass followers. Which I don't know if that'll happen.
Go Canes.
But go Canes. Yeah, no, don't go Canes. Never. Go Discovers, go Shamrocks, go Vikings. That's where we're at. All right, thank you for tuning in again. Podcast people, stick around. We got some more going on. But we'll be right back after this. It's the Geo Show on CNT and News Channel Nebraska.